Welcome to This Week in Falcons Athletics, presented by Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin. My name is Matt Menzel, and this week we highlight men's cross country. But at first, we feature field hockey and being joined by senior Paige Armijo. She was honored on Sunday on Senior Day prior to the matchup against Sewanee and prior to the rain. But up first, let's talk about the victory on Saturday, coming off a win against Kenyon by the final score of 2-1. You had the game-winning goal, and take us through that game-winning goal. How you were able to provide the what ended up being the game winner.
Well, I mean, we earned a short corner. I can't remember exactly how we earned that short corner, but we did. And it kind of was jumbled in the pads area, rebounded off the goalie. I just saw the ball. I knew how to get it in the cage. And
a big win for the Falcons, snapping a losing streak, but also their first ever victory against Kenyon in 3 all-time meetings. How big was that for the team? Just again, to see one of those tight games finally go your direction.
Yeah, I mean, we played them earlier this season, and I mean, we scored first in that first game, but then they scored, I think, in the last minute of the fourth quarter to make it go into overtime, and unfortunately, overtime didn't go our way, and just to see it go the opposite and hold that lead the entire game was just super nice, and I think it was a really good booster for the team.
Unfortunately, Sunday, a tough conference loss against Sewanee by a 3-0 score. I guess, in your opinion, when you look back at that game, what do you feel is the difference?
Like between Kenyon and Sewanee? I feel like the difference between Kenyon and Sewanee was basically, I mean, I feel like we had a little more fire under us for Kenyon, and maybe because we played that day, we didn't have as much fire in Sewanee, but I mean, I think Sewanee's a really good team, and I think we did have a lot of good moments against them, and I hope we could take those moments and if we see them in the conference tournament.
Of course, it didn't help then in the second half. You had the cold rain that fell at Thomasini Stadium, but how about for you? Pre-game, you were honored. It was your senior day. What did that whole environment, what did that whole ceremony mean to you?
It meant so much. I mean, we have such a great team, and I love spending time with them, and I was so thankful to be able to have my family there. I mean, it was my dad's first trip out here, and I was so thankful that he was able to make it out and see me play, so that was a great time.
And for you, back after missing a couple of years, take us through those last couple of years and how you were able to overcome so much adversity.
Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty good freshman season, I would say, and then unluckily I tore my ACL in the spring for lacrosse, and then I was out again for both my sophomore and junior year. But, I mean, being able to be back for senior season feels so good. I mean, I wouldn't want it any other way to be able to play, and I have so much heart coming in now because I realize how much it means to play, so I'm glad to be back.
You go back to your first year all-conference season. So how do you go about, after 2 years removed from the sport, how do you go about preparing for this season?
I mean, I just really had to dig deep and work out a lot. I mean, a lot of rehab, a lot of lifting, a lot of training just to be able to get back to the level I was freshman year. So, I mean, a lot of hard work.
Prior to Concordia, did you have a field hockey background? Because you look at your prep days, you had water polo, you had swimming, you had tennis, but where'd field hockey fit in?
So my high school actually didn't have field hockey, but I did play club when I was before college. And I mean, we have a great water-based turf back in Moore Park, and so I was able to have that in play. But yeah, my high school did not have field hockey, so that was something different. So I had to play different sports for my high school.
Well, now when you look ahead for field hockey, you still have a few more matchups coming up here in 2024, including a home date, that against Rhodes on October the 26th. But to wrap things up, let's look at the week ahead. You guys have Center coming up on Saturday in Danville, Kentucky. You guys lost to them by a 1-0 score, the closest matchup between the two all time. And then coming up on Sunday, non-conference at DePaul. I guess just looking at Saturday, your thoughts on facing Center again?
I mean, I think we're going to be come prepared, and I think we're going to do great and come out with a fire under our butts and just do well, because I mean it was only a 1-point game, so I think we can definitely come, and it's our conference game, right? I believe so. I think we'll be ready.
Yeah, can't wait. All the best to you guys on Saturday and Sunday. Paige, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
More to come after this on This Week in Falcons Athletics.
I can't imagine being any other profession than an orthopedic surgeon. We have the privilege and we have the responsibility to make people better. We've been fortunate enough to take care of professional athletes. We've also been fortunate enough to take care of our neighbors and friends who trust us to give them back their life.
One of the main reasons I came here was because this is the way healthcare is meant to be delivered. Being devoted exclusively to orthopedic care means that we can focus on delivering specialized care for every patient. And that includes not only the surgeons and the physicians, but also anesthesia, controlling pain, the nurses, and the scrub techs, and everyone in the recovery is dedicated to treating conditions that are very similar for people.
Our tagline is an uncommon focus on you. We think the focus on the patient experience is what sets us apart. Before we make any process or clinical decision at the hospital, we start with the same question: is this what's best for the patient? If we can't answer yes, we move on to the next idea. Our nurses provide care for no more than 3 patients per shift, whereas other facilities, they might provide care for 7 or even 8 patients per shift. We think this personalized care is what sets us apart from others.
I think that dedication to our patients is our #1 focus. And you can technically do a good operation, but if you're not centered on the patient, they're not necessarily going to have a great outcome.
The Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin is physician-owned. It's physician-led. We have the responsibility to make the right decision for every patient. We also have the freedom to make the right decision for every patient.
Physicians and staff collaborate through regular meetings, weekly and monthly, and with a relatively small team, we're able to change the way we do things if we need to tweak something to make it perfect.
The facility specifically was designed so that quality could be measured and maintained and sustained. When you have 7,000 patients a year receive their surgery here, it's important that patient number 1 and patient number 7,000 receive the same care.
We place an extremely high priority on the patient experience here. We send surveys to each and every person that receives care at our hospital. Those survey results come back directly to me. I review them and share them with our senior leadership, as well as the staff and the physicians that provide the care to those patients.
There's almost 5,000 hospitals in the country that are measured. The Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin measures #1, not #2, not #3, not runner-up, #1 in patient satisfaction in the state of Wisconsin for the last 10 years running.
Welcome back to This Week in Falcons Athletics, presented by Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin. Timmy Bray, a senior on the men's cross-country team, joins us now. And let's go back to when you first stepped on campus. And in your opinion, how have you grown as a cross-country athlete in your time here at Concordia?
I think I've grown pretty well. I've learned a lot from our coach, Russ. He's taught me a lot, and I think maturity-wise, I've grown a lot too, just helping the new kids, the freshmen and underclassmen, find their place on campus and on the team.
I got to believe, too, you've come a long way in the sense, I think one of your first meets was a virtual relay, and we've come a long way since then, right?
Yeah, no, it was crazy back in COVID year. Didn't really have many races, and now it's a race every other weekend pretty much.
You talk about this team and, okay, being one of the elders now, the only senior on the men's cross-country team. What have you seen from some of the other guys? You have one junior, but, I mean, there's a lot of freshmen and sophomores on this roster.
I've seen a lot of dedication from them. They're very locked in this season, and they want to do great. I've given them ideas of what we can do, and they bought in on it, so it's great.
How about for you? What's been your approach after a year in which you were all region, but also the co-NAC cross country athlete of the year?
It's been a little bit hard. The pressure a little bit of just keeping that all conference and champion of that. The training has been harder, but I like it. The pressure's just been there.
So in preparation, did you do anything differently this offseason to get ready for this season, or is it kind of business as usual?
It was just business as usual, but kind of just keeping in the back of my mind that, I got to keep training because all those other guys are going to be training just as hard as I am.
Take us back a couple of weeks. You guys were at Rose-Hulman for a pre-national meet. How do you feel things went against some of that good competition?
I think as a team we did great. We beat one of our rivals, Aurora, there, which is great. We haven't done that in a long time for the guys. The girls did that too, which is awesome. And I think we showed a lot of potential there.
How about for you, just getting the opportunity to race at night? Is that a whole different adjustment?
Yeah, it was very different. They had lights out there, but there were some parts of the course that just weren't lit up enough. But it was still great. The atmosphere was amazing. The temperature was cold, but other than that, it was great.
And you look outside now, and it's almost starting to feel like early winter. Do you like this time of year?
I do, yeah. Not many people do, but me and a couple of the guys on the team, we do like it when it's cold because it just feels a lot more refreshing on the body when you are running.
And when you look at the schedule, okay, so you competed in Terre Haute, Indiana a couple of weeks ago. Now you compete again here coming up on Saturday. What do you do between those 2 weeks? Is it a lot of rest and recovery, or is it, again, just preparing for the next meet?
Well, right after a race, it's always about rest and recovery. You want to just get your body back into a good feeling, and then you just build up again, start training hard. And the most important thing is just getting your mindset right. You really have to focus in on what you want to do during this break time to prepare for your next race.
And coming up that next race on Saturday, the Wisconsin Private College Championships at 11 a.m. and hosted here. So what do you kind of maybe expect from just the course conditions?
I expect it to be great. You know, we've had a little bit of rain, but our course holds that rain pretty well. So, yeah, I expect it to be good footing, dry. A little bit windy, but that's all right. We'd like that.
And finally, okay, then after that, you have the NAC Championships coming up on the 2nd of November. For you, what personal goals do you have with these, remaining few weeks of your cross-country season?
My goals are just always go out there, give it my best. I always try and go for the win, but if that doesn't happen, just get my team as many points or as low of points as I can.
Well, Timmy, all the best to you and your teammates these last few weeks.
Thank you. Yeah.
And coming up this week, another busy week on the Concordia campus. You have women's soccer at 4 o'clock on Wednesday against Marion before they host Concordia Chicago at 3:30 on Saturday to wrap up the home portion of the regular season. The men's soccer team will be at Marion at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. We'll host Concordia Chicago at 1 o'clock coming up on Saturday. Also of note, volleyball will be at MSOE Thursday at 7 before they visit Concordia Chicago on Saturday. ACHA hockey is back at the Ozaki Ice Center on Friday at 7:30 puck drop against UW Oshkosh, and it's homecoming weekend as the football team looking to bounce back. They host Eureka 1 o'clock Saturday. Thanks for joining us for This Week in Falcons Athletics presented by Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin.